Welcome back, everybody. You're watching the #1 home improvement YouTube channel in the entire world. Got a good video for you today. It's about painting kitchen cabinets. I've been getting lots of questions lately on how to get a factory finish on kitchen cabinets. Painted kitchen cabinets are not supposed to look like they're made of wood. Think of it as painting a car and you're doing auto body work on wood. The quality of your paint job all comes down to the preparation. Here I'm going through my different sanding grits. I start out with 120, and you might need to do this as well if you are painting some old kitchen cabinets. But before you start sanding, you're going to want to clean and degrease your cabinets, and then start sanding with 120. Now on this particular door I'm working on, the main middle panel there has already been sanded and sealed with vinyl sealer. So I'm just working around the edges for this cabinet door. Getting all the edges. One thing you want to make sure is that you have a slight round over on your edges. You don't want a very sharp edge. Paint will not stick to that knife edge. So you want to have a little bit of a round over. I think I'll give you a little bit of a close-up here in a few minutes on what I mean about having a little bit of a round over. Now you might want to do this step by hand. I've done it hundreds of times, so I kind of know how much the sandpaper on the orbital sander is going to take off. Now I'm down to hand sanding, and you're going to do a lot of hand sanding. The more details you have in the profile of your cabinet and the cabinet doors, the more hand sanding you're going to have to do. It's tedious, but it's necessary to get a factory finish. And here's a good example of how much of a round over I put on the edge of the cabinet door. That edge is rounded over and the other edge is not rounded over. So there's a good comparison of what I'm talking about. So other than sanding, the most important part of getting factory finish is to fill the grain on your wood cabinets. If you got those builder grade oak cabinets with the deep grains, you're going to have to do this to the entire door. It's not going to be fun, but you're going to have to do it. They actually make a special product specifically made for filling that grain when you're painting your cabinets. Now I've switched over to 220 grit sandpaper to sand off all the wood filler, as well as hitting up the entire door again. You got to do this sanding and filling process to both sides of the door to make sure you get that factory finish. Now, the first step in the painting process is to seal it with a vinyl sanding sealer. I've got a pretty good paint setup here. I've got 3 different paint sprayers. This is what the vinyl sealer looks like. Looks like glue. Using a tack cloth as well as compressed air to make sure I get all the dust off. We're going to take a quick 90-second break to thank our video sponsor, and then we'll be right back. Today's video sponsor is Bespoke Post. It's a subscription service where they send you boxes of goodies. Quick open up this box and see what they sent. And then I will tell you the details. Bonus points for anybody who can identify this knife. Put it down in the comments. What knife am I opening this box with? All right, it's a field box. Ooh. Now I told myself I wasn't going to do those goofy, fake oohs and ahs when people do unboxings. That one was all el natural when I opened this up and found myself a skinning knife. I skin lots of animals, done hundreds of them. Can't quite shave with it, but I'll take care of that. It's got a nice gut hook on it, surviving the great outdoors. Got a little saw. Saw your arm off when you get wedged underneath a boulder. It's like Christmas. Look at this thing. Look at that. That's not a knife. This is a knife. A detox scrub bar. It's that man soap. You know this black man soap that's been getting pretty popular? It's a little bag. Carry all my goodies in.
Every box has at least $70 in value, but costs only $45. The box lineup changes every single month. Discover cool products and brands. You can skip a month anytime and swap or exchange your box hassle-free. If you want to check out one of these cool boxes, head to the link in the description, use my code Handyman20 and get 20% off your first box.
Hey, we are back. And I just sprayed it off with some air, set it about 40 psi. I've got my tank pressure always set at 40 psi when I'm painting. There's also a regulator on the actual spray gun. So my input is 40 and my output is like 7 or 8 psi. Start with the edges. This is all going to get sanded, so it's not that critical that you get everything perfect on your first coat of vinyl sealer. So I did 2 coats of vinyl sealer on one side and I just flipped it over, and I'm going to do the exact same thing to the other side. And at this stage in me building this cabinet door, I haven't picked out what side is going to face the kitchen. So I'm treating them both as if they were going to face the kitchen, and when it's all said and done, when it's time to drill the holes for the hinges, then I decide what is the best side to face the kitchen. Now the stage that I'm starting right now is something that most cabinet builders don't do, and that is caulk the panel to the frame of the door. It's one of the most complained about things amongst housewives that have painted cabinets. They pay $25,000, $30,000 for their painted cabinets, and they see this line, this black line. It's the seam between the floating panel and the frame of the door. So what I do is I put a little bit of caulk in there. I've got a special caulk smearing device that puts a teeny tiny little bead of caulk. Most of it's all scraped off. But man, does it look good when it's done. A lot of people have a concern about their doors expanding and contracting with different humidity levels. By using a composite middle panel there, really limits the amount that the door moves. You can see how nice that looks. And once we get paint on there, it's going to look real good. And all the desperate housewives will love their cabinets. So how do I know that that is one of the biggest complaints about custom kitchen cabinets? Well, you go to the forums, all the remodel forums. House has some, Pinterest has them, and it is the #1 complaint when people get their expensive custom cabinets installed. is that they see all the seams. They're not caught. So this is the first coat of paint that I'm spraying on here now, and just like the sealer, I focus on all the edges. Probably should move those lights out of the way so I don't bump them. Now in my spray pattern, I'm doing what's called is 1/3 overlaps. So I make a pass and then I move over 1/3 and make a pass, move over 1/3 and make another pass and move over 1/3. Now what I'm doing here is just dusting it off. It's already dried. Takes about 3 minutes to dry. I give it about 15 minutes between coats, and I do not sand in between coats. This is pre-catalyzed lacquer. So you saw me just flip it around there. And that is to get different angles. Mainly that far side right there. I might not get it perfect, but when I spin it around and it's on my strong side, then I'll get it a good coat on it. So by flipping it, it keeps it consistent. So the door is all done, and this is a close-up of the products that I used. Pre-catalyzed lacquer in white, it's off-the-shelf white. This is an example of a cabinet that I'm building, and those are just the parts. That's what it looks like before it all gets put together and painted. That's it. See everybody later. Goodbye.